We sit at the table where we worked hard to earn a seat. And still, quietly, we wait for someone to notice we do not belong. We rehearse what we will say when they finally ask, "How did you get here? What makes you think you are qualified?" We have the credentials, we have the experience, and yet something inside us has already decided it was luck, it was a mistake. It is only a matter of time. Her name was Meilin. She was an architect in Song Dynasty China, one of the few women ever commissioned to design public buildings. She had spent 12 years studying under the old masters of timber frame construction, memorizing load ratios, reading the land before she ever touched a beam. She had earned this. And yet, when the Imperial Commission selected her to design the new bridge at Hangzhou, her first thought was not pride. It was, "They will soon find out." Every morning she arrived at the site before the workers. She checked her calculations twice, 3 times. When Commissioner Fang praised a particular arch design, she immediately pointed out its flaw, a small inefficiency in the lateral support. When the workers deferred to her judgment, she felt a flash of something close to panic. She had the answers. She gave them confidently. And then, alone at night, she would sit with her drawings and quietly dismantle everything she had said. One evening, Commissioner Fang found her still at work. He set a cup of tea beside her and looked at the drawings for a long moment. Then he said something she did not expect. He said, "I notice you argue against yourself more fiercely than any critic ever could." She said nothing. He picked up one of the discarded drafts from the floor, a design she had thrown aside 3 days before, and he held it up to the lamp. He said, "This one is better than what we are building. Why did you stop here?" She could not answer him, because the truth was, she had stopped there the moment she thought, "Who are you to try something this bold?" That question, quiet, persistent, familiar, had been doing the work of 100 critics, and it had cost her something she could not get back. 3 days of building the wrong design, because she did not trust the right one. There is a name for what Meilin carried. We call it Imposter syndrome today, but it is not new. A philosopher named Wang Yangming wrote about something very close to it in 15th century China. He called it the gap between knowing and doing. And he believed this gap was not caused by ignorance. It was caused by doubt. Not doubt in our skills, doubt in the validity of our own experience. Wang Yangming taught that knowledge and action are not two separate things. To truly know something, he said, you must act from it. When we do not trust what we know, we create a split inside ourselves. And that split is exhausting to maintain. The Tibetan teacher Shantideva said something that cuts even deeper. He wrote, "If the problem can be solved, why be unhappy? And if it cannot be solved, what is the use of being unhappy? What he was pointing at is this. Much of our suffering around imposter syndrome is not about the real possibility of failure. It is about a story we rehearse obsessively. A story in which we are exposed, diminished, found wanting. And that story runs on its own energy, long after the evidence has stopped supporting it. Shantideva called this kind of mental spinning a form of harm we do to ourselves, unnecessary, habitual, and breakable. There is one more voice worth hearing. A Japanese writer named Kenko, a monk who lived in the 1300s, wrote a small book of reflections called Essays in Idleness. In it, he said something quietly radical. It is a fine thing when a man who thoroughly understands a subject is reluctant to speak of it. Kenko was observing that the people who seem most certain, who speak loudest about their own mastery, are often the ones who understand the least. The ones who hesitate, who revise, who feel the weight of what they do not yet know, those are often the ones who understand the most. The discomfort Meilin felt was not a sign of incompetence. It was a sign of depth. Meilin rebuilt the bridge using the design she had almost thrown away. It stood for over 200 years. She did not stop feeling uncertain, but she learned to treat that uncertainty differently, not as proof that she did not belong, but as the natural feeling of someone working at the edge of what they know. That is where all real work happens. If you feel it too, that quiet dread, that waiting to be found out, try this. Wang Yangming's idea is practical. Do not wait until you feel certain. Act from what you know right now. Certainty does not come before action. It comes through it. The next time that voice says, "Who are you to do this?" answer it plainly. I am someone who does the work. That is enough. We earned the seat. Not perfectly, not without doubting ourselves, but we showed up and we learned and we kept working, even when the voice inside said we shouldn't be here. That is not what an imposter does. That is exactly what someone real does. The doubt is not the truth. It is just the feeling of being fully alive inside something that matters to you.